Last year I was actually on a grand jury, and we had a couple of similar cases come up before the grand jury, and from that perspective, it's really interesting how, at the grand jury level, how they paint the picture. And I think sometimes a little disingenuously.
I'm not sure that I can get inside the heads of the people who did it, but maybe the person who was doing the arresting at the time thought he was doing the right thing, but after it was discovered that maybe it wasn't the right thing, it should have been cut off right there at that point.
I mean, if somebody threw it out, why would somebody get a hold of it and say, I'm going to go after this person? What is the reason for that? That I can't comprehend.
Well, obviously, from reading the story, she was really mistreated.
The fact that, I mean, now that her daughter's 16 years old, she still lives with her, I think that they definitely, you can see they have a good relationship, a loving, and I definitely feel that, you know, Allison's not the kind of person that you would think would abuse her child. You can see that.
And obviously, she got screwed, big time.
And I was like, how can this happen? How can police officers do this?
I think it's quite atrocious to what happened to Allison with basically no wrongdoing and all the things that followed up. It's kind of a catastrophe for her to be faced with all those problems.
It's really bad.
I believe she was hurt emotionally in many ways, and I believe that she went through a lot of injustice, and she will show that in the movie, and that is to be seen. So
I think the stories need to be told of how people are treated in the penal system throughout the country. There was a guy just released from federal penitentiary in Tucson yesterday after 28 years for a rape charge that he was exonerated through DNA just a few days ago. So, yeah, these stories need to be told.
What they're doing is taking average, normal, everyday citizens and they're making criminals out of them.
I'm sure there are other stories like that out there that are true, and if there are truth stories out there like that, they should be shown and they should be reported. That doesn't mean that Joe doesn't do a decent job at other things, and I think that he should be given an opportunity to correct his mistakes.
I can't think of anybody in the country who wasn't a little familiar with Joe Arpaio, and anything we could do to put a cap on that would certainly be a message that I think anybody, at least from my political persuasion, would like to get across.
To me, Tent City is for hardened criminals. I mean, because it's you're out there, it's either cold or it's blistering hot. I mean, this is somebody that didn't do anything or didn't do anything that's that serious. I mean, let's take a look at the crime. I mean, why is it that we have hardened criminals that seem to be living the life of luxury in some of our prisons? I mean, you hear this all the time. They're in there, they can get anything they want. So this makes no sense to me whatsoever.
I heard 40,000 warrants for arrest, but on there, if you go to the jail phone number and you call and you get put on hold forever, it'll tell you everything about them. It says there's 70,000 warrants in Maricopa County. 70,000. So there's a good chance you or your son or your daughter that's innocent could be pulled over and taken to jail just because they have a warrant that they're not aware of.
People in Tent City, they might have just forgotten to pay a ticket, they might have a DUI, and they're not evil people. I mean, people have DUI because they're addicted to alcohol, or even if they had one drink too many, they never haven't drank in a year. I mean, these are not evil, hardcore people. They're thrown in Tent City. It's inhumane. I can't believe that American people in this county support people being treated inhumanely. I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed that we vote for a system like that treats people like that and thinks it's wonderful.
I think it's very compelling. I think it needs to be told because I think that people put too much stock in the police and in the judges, to be honest.
It's going to hit home, and I think it's going to be an intense film, and there's going to be a lot of interest in it, not just on the creative and artistic side, but it sets a message. I think that it may be in all kinds of venues if you wanted to distribute it that way.
Well, I believe everybody's going to have their own opinion, and it's going to raise a lot of controversy, good and bad. But I believe that the idea and the perception Allison wants to give out is going to be out there. And whether people take it negative or positive, it's going to make an impact, a very good impact.
These are fellow human beings. They're not Jeffrey Dahmers or Ted Bundys. These are people like you and me that made a mistake, a simple mistake.